Hello guys, I welcome you to my next lecture on circular motion. Today the topics are mentioned in the what I am going to teach you are mentioned in the video description, so check them out then come back. Now first is angular velocity. So what is the angular velocity? When I think you have studied the linear motion or keeping analogy with that, the time rate of change of angular displacement which we have discussed in the previous lecture is the angular velocity. It is denoted as Greek word omega, small letter omega is equals to theta over t. So what is its unit? Theta is unitless, theta is dimensionless. Its unit is radian if it is measured in radian, not in degrees, and t is time, so it is measured in second, so rad per second. So the dimension is t inverse, because just now I have told you that theta is dimensionless. Now what is the definition of instantaneous angular velocity? You just add a word in front of it, attach a word, that is instantaneous. So what is instantaneous angular velocity? Let us say that the particle traverses an infinite angular displacement delta theta spending a time delta t. Then by definition the angular velocity of that circulating particle is delta theta over delta t. In the limit delta t tending to 0, you can go ahead and replace delta by d's. So here is the instantaneous angular velocity. So this formula is very important when you want to derive omega and you are given the parametric relation of theta in terms of time. What I want to say is, you are given theta equals to theta t, theta is a function of time. You go on and take the first order derivative of theta and you will arrive at omega. We will take problems on these formulas in the later lectures, so stay tuned. Now angular velocity, just like linear velocity, is a vector. It's a pseudo vector. Take it for granted now. I will bring videos explaining you to various kinds of vectors, various kinds of scalar. Yes, there are various kind of scalar, I mean it. So there are pseudo vectors, pseudo scalars, polar vectors, axial vectors. This division is done entirely on the transformation of vector transformation property. This division is done entirely upon the transformation properties of these vectors. So we will see in the later lectures. Next we will go and define the time period of motion of the circular motion or circulation. Let us say the particle is circulating in a circular path of radius r. Then it is a periodic motion because the particle starts at A and comes back at the same point A after a certain time interval, say that is t, and this time t taken by the particle of say certain mass m to traverse this whole path or this entire path just once is the time period. So what is the net angular displacement when the particle traverses one complete rotation, or what is the net angular displacement? And that is 2 pi in terms of radian, and the time taken is say t to traverse 2 pi. So the omega or the angular velocity is, we have learned, 2 pi over t, angular displacement divided by time. So this is the formula in between omega and t. Remember this formula. When we will do numericals, you will have to use this result. Next, so what is a frequency? There is another concept known as frequency. The frequency is the inverse of time period, that is the number of a complete rotation done in 1 second or unit time is known as frequency. Let us take the particle completes n rotation in times t. So given a time t, the particle traverses n complete rotation of this track. Then the total angular displacement done in time t is just multiply it by 2 pi, because if a single rotation is equals to 2 pi angular displacement, then n times that is 2 pi n, so 1 unit which is pi n over t, and that is our definition of frequency. So 2 pi n over t. So that is the definition of omega, not frequency, I am sorry, that is the very frequency of omega, angular displacement over time. And if you take t in 1 seconds, you can arrive at this wonderful result in between circular frequency and normal frequency. This normal frequency sometimes popularly is measured in hertz or cycles per second, and it is also measured in revolution per second, RPS or RPH or RPM. So here this is rotation or revolution per seconds, hours and minute. Now I will give you a formula, or I will derive you a formula in between RPM and radian per second, which is the well known unit of angular velocity. Now 1 RPM is 1 revolution done in 60 seconds. I think that is clear. Now 1 revolution is equals to 2 pi radian. So you can easily conclude that that is equals to pi over 30 rad per second. So if you are given RPM or angular velocity in terms of RPM or rad per second, you can interchange them very easily using this result. Next we go on to derive the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity. Now angular velocity is a vector. Just now we have learned it is a pseudo vector, but what is its direction? Let us say the particle is circulating in a positive sense. If you do not know what is a positive sense of rotation, go on to my first lecture, then come back. So it is rotating in this. Then take your right hand and curl the finger in the direction of rotation and stick out your thumb. The direction of your thumb is perpendicular to the plane of rotation, and that is the very direction of angular velocity, which is in our case, if you curl the fingers of the right hand, the thumb points out of the blackboard, and this pointing out of thumb is denoted in pen and paper by a dot inside a small circle, denoting that the direction of angular velocity is outwards, or it has a positive sense of rotation. And for negative sense of rotation or clockwise rotation, curl your finger similarly, and you will see that it points into the blackboard or into the whiteboard, whatever it is. So in negative rotation, it is denoted as the direction of angular velocity is denoted by a cross inside a small circle. I think if you have done something on electrostatics, magnetostatics or EM theory earlier, you will be familiar with this notation. Now what we want to derive here is the relation between angular velocity and linear velocity. So just in the previous lecture we have seen that s equals to r theta. This is the usual relationship between the linear velocity, linear displacement and angular displacement. So go ahead and differentiate it with respect to time once. R is a constant factor, so it will come out of the derivative. So this d theta dt is the angular velocity, and this s is the time rate of change of linear displacement, which is linear velocity. So this is the relation in between v and omega in terms of their magnitude only. Be careful, but if you are given vectors, then there is an useful vector relation, which is v equals to omega cross r. That will save your life while dealing with vector form of omega r and v. So you see the vector v is perpendicular to the plane containing omega and r. So let us take the plane of rotation to be a, b, c, d as usual. the particle is rotating in a plane. Here is the axis of rotation, and at this point the velocity vector is in the plane, and this is the radius vector, points outward from the axis of rotation. So the omega here is this. So I hope I have cleared you this relation and their directions and their magnitude as well. So if you like my video, go on to my channel page and subscribe now. I will bring this type of contents in the future. Bye for now guys, take care.